A concept came to me that I thought I would share, and that's about the preparation phase that we're currently in. It's always interesting because we live on a planet with so many people, and we're all at different phases of a particular journey, and sometimes things resonate so true for oneself and then, completely fall flat with others. And I think that it's important to acknowledge our knowing, our certainty, our intuition, and not have it any need for validation from others, because they just might be at a very different phase. And often I have this real feeling of kinship, of like us, of tribe, of humanity, and I want to feel at one with all of humanity, and yet I feel that I need to acknowledge that different people are on different courses, and so when I very confidently and with certainty say we or I'm really reflecting obviously on myself and people who are at a similar phase of their journey, or taking on a similar role, or have a similar history in the future. So I'll continue with my my certainty, but of course if this doesn't resonate with you, maybe we're just on different paths. But for those who are on a similar path and trajectory as myself, I feel like this is the calm before the storm. Sometimes we are so passionate and engaged in so many things that it can feel almost storm-like, but I really feel if you're watching this, if you're having time to check in on Facebook and watch my video, you're not in the storm yet, and I am not in the storm. It's the idea of being armed before the storm. And the arms are definitely not weapons of military nature. The arms are skills, are capacities. And the concept I had very clearly was that we need to have skills or resources that cannot be taken away from us, and that when you go through the crucible of change, through that transformation, you're stripped back to absolutely your core, so you can't take anything with you. I was talking to a friend this morning about a dream he had about the things that we're gearing up or skilling up on or applying our attentions and passions to at the moment are training for the next phase. And so I really get this concept of being stripped back to nothing. If you're dislocated, relocated, if you're robbed, if your house burns, if everything's repossessed, if you're stripped back to blank, you still need to be armed with those skills, with your capacity to then move forward in your new location, new position, the new structure of society. If everything crumbles and collapses, we still have our resources. So it's a very exciting time preparing for the next phase. We're seeing many different factions, groups, political movements, community movements. It's all about movement, it's all about shifting, it's all about change, and it's a very beautiful and positive thing. These shifts are unclogging, are dislodging those big clots which we have had in many of our systems, and like any system, it needs to flow. We need oxygen in the body, we need in our economics for money to flow, we need information to freely flow. It's what the open source movement's all about. So it's a really cool time of shifting, and it can feel destabilizing, but of course there's many forms which talk about surrender and flow. So we are going along with this avalanche whether we like it or not, and I think that clinging to our tools, our weapons, if we think that they are of a object nature, like I need my house, I need my car, I need my paintbrush, I need my computer. If any of these skills that we have are based on things that can be taken away from us, I think we need to recontextualize what the true value is. Similarly with any belief system, if we need a particular building to go to, or we need a particular garment to wear, or a particular book, or a particular set of beads or tokens, or all these sort of things, let's look, what is the value, what is the meaning, what were they established on? And these ceremonial and ritualistic things are beautiful to put us back in a frame of mind, but it's the frame of mind that is truly valuable. It's the ideas, it's the essential spiritual core, it's the capacity to be aware, to engage in a human and spiritual capacity, and mental, emotional, all these components of us. Those things cannot be taken away from us. So let's really develop these skills. We can have our methods through our various practices and places and objects, but really train up in skills that cannot be taken away from us when we are stripped back to nothing. And that is the phase I feel we're going to be going through, each of us on our different paths. There is a storm ahead, and it's chaotic, and it's beautiful, and it's a time of change. So prepare.